Well, this is it. I finally bought my dream rig, arguably one of the most capable vehicles ever to leave the factory floor, the 80 series Toyota landcruiser. However, mine is in need of some work. When I bought this thing, the windows didn't roll up and they were duct taped shut, and there's still some duct tape residue left on the doors. The suspension's kind of clanking around, which was actually a pretty easy band-aid fix. There's just a bad shock bushing. I had a spare one lying around and just kind of forced it in there. I'll be replacing these anyway. It leaks more than any vehicle I've ever owned. The brakes are incredibly touchy for some reason. Oh, and it's not triple locked. Obviously, this landcruiser needs a lot of work. But that is enough negative talk about this landcruiser. Let's talk about the positives. What makes the 80 series landcruiser so great? Why is it such a good platform? And why did I sell my first gen 4Runner to get into this truck? Well, there's a lot of reasons. I would argue that the 80 series is one of the best 4x4s ever made when it comes to 4x4s that are actually used for doing things that, 4x4s do. The strength, durability, capability, and suspension that comes out of these things from the factory was very good then and still very good today. There's huge aftermarket for it. It's already straight axled. It's already on coils. It has a reverse cut front ring gear, so you have more clearance in the front area there. It has full disc brakes, full flow axles, can fit a very large tire with barely any mods, has a 4.5 liter inline six, it has more storage space, more cargo capacity, and it's a better all-around overlander and rock crawler rig that I can do both with than I would have been able to do with my first gen 4Runner. Not to mention the 80 series is just an iconic and legendary truck in the off-roading community. Since I was able to pick this truck up for a very good price, I had to jump on it. Now, this particular 80 series is a 1993 model, so it does benefit from the upgraded 4.5 liter 24 valve engine as I mentioned previously, as well as full disc brakes, full flow axles, and the introduction of ABS. There's nothing wrong with the 91 and 92 models, I just chose the 93 and up because I wanted to start off with a slightly improved platform. Okay, moving over to the interior now. This is probably the cleanest part of the truck in my opinion. We have a missing grille right here, but it's actually just in the door panel. The actual interior itself though is very clean. It has the cloth seats, not the leather seats in this particular trim of this landcruiser. The steering wheel has a little bit of sun damage, but nothing that can't be fixed with one of those nice steering wheel covers. It's missing the driver's side sun visor. It's actually in the back seat, but it kind of was falling down, so I took it off so I could actually drive this truck. As I mentioned before, it is not triple locked. That switch or toggle would be right here. Everything works, except the AC, you got to get that charged up. Headliner's in really good shape, thankfully, because those are annoying to change out. As I said earlier, these landcruisers have a ton of storage space, and you could start seeing it here. So these seats fold forward and they make, the platform back there, and they actually have third row seats in the rear as well, and you can take those out for even more storage space. Not to mention you can pop out this entire window and put in, what do they call that, like a gull wing window, the actual storage box right there. And another thing I really love about these landcruisers is that it still has a tailgate. And you could actually get units that make the tailgate a storage bin as well. This truck came with a bunch of old man Emu parts. I think they're all from the 90s because all the shocks are blown. So the nitro chargers in this box and that box, they're both front shocks, they're both blown. The steering stabilizer seems to be good, so I might put that on the truck. And then I have some J coils back there. They're already on the truck. These are just full of all the old suspension parts. So this truck already has a 2.5 inch lift, or maybe a 2 inch lift, but we're probably gonna change it out for a different lift kit. One of the things that I just noticed is that my pickup right here that's on a 4-inch lift straight axle on 37s is actually smaller in terms of height. It's shorter, I should say, than the landcruiser on, I don't even know if these are 31s, whatever those tiny little tires are. The landcruiser absolutely trumps this pickup. And this pickup is not small, so that kind of shows you how much larger the landcruiser is. Could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. It's gonna be top heavy, but it's also a lot larger, so it has more space. So in my opinion, this is one of the best platforms that you can get into that can be used as both an overland and crawler rig. It can do both
very well. Probably not as good as my pickup or a fully built rock crawler, but it can still get through trails that I want to take it on, and it's much better at taking me to them on the highway. So this is exactly what I wanted to get into. I was able to get this thing for a great price, as I said earlier in the video. I had to pick it up, and what I'm gonna do with this one, I think I'm still working on the build sheet, but what I want to do is I want to get it on 38s with a 3-inch lift, obviously 488s or 529 gears. I want to install lockers, you know, all of the stuff that's going to make this a very capable truck. But before I can do any of that, I have to fix the problems that this truck has mechanically. I'm not so worried about the superficial things like the mirrors or the clear coat or anything like that, but the oil leaks have got to be fixed. So in the next couple of videos, I'll be tackling those oil leaks. And I believe they're coming from the valve cover and the oil pump. However, one kind of looks like it's coming from the transmission too. I've got to clean everything up and figure out where they're coming from, because at the moment there's just so much oil, I just don't know. Anyway, this is going to be a very fun build series, and we're going to be making this thing a complete beast from the stock situation that it is right now. So make sure that you follow along, and as I said, this is going to be fun.